Greetings and welcome to Jefficho Films. Today we're going to talk about a 1987 movie directed by David A. Pryor, who's done some interesting films in his time, this one included. So let's review Killer Workout. This movie starts out with Valerie, who's pretty tired when she gets home. She listens to some messages, and she's going to be on the cover of Cosmos, so she decides to go out to the tanning booth. Unfortunately, it malfunctions and burns her alive. The next day we go to Rhonda's workout. It's a gym with some nice 80s aerobic music and some women doing 80s aerobics. Jaimy's late and she drops her purse on her way in and a bunch of condoms fall out. There's nothing wrong with that. She likes to be safe. What is wrong is why is she wearing heels to the gym? Tommy annoys Jaimy on her way in, and then Jimmy annoys Rhonda after she just taught the workout. I mean, at least spray these women down because they don't even look like they worked up a sweat. Also, if we need to suspect a killer...
Hey Rhonda, how about tonight?
No, Jimmy.
Well, how about tomorrow night?
Look, not tonight, not tomorrow night, not any night. How many times do I have to say that?
Yeah, I'd be surprised the workout's over too. After one song, Rhonda gives Jaimy some grief, and then they talk about closing up and dinner. I don't think they're doing the passage of time very well in this. One of the girls is taking a long shower. Why is it night now? Someone turns out the lights and safety pins our victim to death. I don't agree if the safety pin is a murder weapon. It's unrealistic. Jaimy's still cleaning up while the killer is too. There should be a long streak of blood along that floor. And we get a weird fake out scare before we get the real one. Lieutenant Morgan shows up and he's doing an investigation and he finds a bloody knitting needle, not a safety pin. And he questions the girls over Rachael's death. Because the body was found in Diane Matthews' locker, she's the suspect. And Morgan reminds the girls,
"You're gonna be seeing a lot more of me."
I can hardly wait.
The next day at the gym, one of the guys said that Rachael's body was cut up into little pieces. No, it wasn't. But if it was, why the fuck are you at that gym? Jaimy is running her 8 a.m. class, but Rhonda seems to have an issue. Why can't they just be friends?
Hi, Rhonda. What the hell are you doing? Look, business is bad enough already. What? Look, just teach the class to stop showing off your tits and tight little ass. Got it?
Pretty sure that was the point. Rhonda finds Chuck Dawson snooping around. Apparently her business partner hired him. Jimmy decides to threaten Chuck. Probably shouldn't have.
Next time, I'm gonna finish it.
Debbie saw the fight, and I think it did something for her, so she makes her move.
Care to go for a ride?
Yeah, it's the best offer I've had all day.
Great. Hop in.
Dude, you're working, you can't just leave. But he does, jumps in her car, goes back to her place and has a couple of Diet Pepsis. Nothing gets me in the mood more than diet soda. Apparently she dated Jimmy a while back and he asks her about it. Jimmy's a pretty weird guy. Gets his address. And then he calls Mr. Erickson. And then he remembers he has to go back to his place of employment because he has work to do. But Debbie reminds him that he has some work to do here first.
Well, I think you got a lot to do right here.
Is that right?
That's right.
Well, back to the women and a couple of guys doing some aerobics and creepy Jimmy staring. Diane, she takes a shot at Jimmy. Why not? I mean, he's getting rejected by all the other girls. Maybe she's got a chance.
Hi, Jimmy.
Oh, hi Diane.
What are you doing tonight?
I don't know yet. What about you?
I don't have any plans yet.
Too bad.
That night, somebody with a gun is following Diane. Probably Lieutenant Morgan, but that is not how you close the door, Diane. Morgan knocks at the door and the suspense music starts playing. He starts banging at the door, but he never identified himself, so like, why would she open it? The safety pin killer is in there, and they kill her with the safety pin. And then jump out the second-story window. The lieutenant gets a call that the knitting needle was not the murder weapon, though it would have been a better one. We see the killers washing their girl hands in the sink and cleaning the safety pin. We also see that Rhonda's cleaning up, and we get a Jimmy jump scare. That Jimmy.
I'm not some kind of crazy killer.
Would you just stop it?
Look, I just wanted to see you alone.
Look, I know you're not a killer, Jimmy. But you are an asshole.
Some teens spray paint Aerobicide on the window and death spa. Funny you should mention death spa. Curtis gets split up from his fellow felons and is murdered. Then one of the girls with a big knife. The other girl finds him dead. Crime doesn't pay, but it does do damage to your convertible cover. We get a weightlifting accident that leads to a kill, and then another, but this time a safety pin. Chuck beats the shit out of Tommy for standing over the bodies, and then, he gets questioned by the police. But Tommy is concussed, and he's having a sex fantasy with Jaimy before she's killed, and he's being strangled by himself. Hey, whatever does it for you. Morgan talks to him, and then he leaves, but seconds later, Tommy's dead. The next day, people are still doing aerobics, and Tommy's body's being body bagged. Why are people still going to this gym? Rhonda calls out Morgan.
I want to know what the hell you're doing about this, because I don't see you doing any more than standing around acting like some goddamn TV cop.
No, he's a movie cop. He says Officer Peterson's gonna stay the whole night and watch over everything. Pretty sure that didn't help Tommy when you said he was right outside the door. Jimmy's working out in the dark while Chuck's breaking into his house, and he finds a bunch of guns and pictures of girls on the wall. I mean, I don't know, call the cops. I'm pretty sure it's a red herring, but still it's creepy as fuck. Now Chuck and Jimmy are both stalking one of the girls and they fight. Chuck got a rake and puts it in Jimmy's leg, which makes him stronger. Chuck wakes to Rhonda and Morgan standing over him, and Morgan knows that he's a private investigator. Also, we find out that Jimmy has pictures of Rhonda in his locker and at home. The lights go out at the studio when Jamie's trying to teach. Seriously, why aren't there more cops there? There's been 2 to 3 murders a night. So, Jamie's dead, and so is the other random girl, and Peterson found them both. Way to do your job. Chuck is picking a lock before Morgan interrupts him, but he gets called away. Then we go back to the girls working out, and we see Jimmy's watching Chuck leave. Ice picks him to death. We see a horribly burnt head putting a wig on. It's Rhonda. Morgan shows up and calls her Valerie. She changed her name. He thinks he's figured out her motive.
All of them were good-looking, beautiful people, in great shape. Perfect bodies, one might say.
She flashes him her burnt boobs and says she's innocent, but he still arrests her, so clearly he didn't do anything for him. Then he gets a call that Jimmy just killed Chuck. Why do cops always yell freeze?
Freeze, Hallik!
Also, Jimmy's running and climbing pretty good for a guy that had a rake in his leg the night before. And this chase goes through a construction yard, turns into a gunfight. I don't know if I even like this cop. Do I care if he dies? Morgan gets a drop on Jimmy, but would rather ask him why he's covering for Rhonda, and that costs him.
You're gonna answer me now. She did it all, didn't she? Didn't she?
And we see Rhonda at the gym, and she takes off the wig and she's gonna go take a shower, and Jimmy shows up and he turns on the lights and he is shocked. So Lieutenant Morgan is still alive, and he picks up Rhonda in a random non-police car and drives her out to the woods with a shovel. Is he gonna kill her? Morgan decides to tell Rhonda a story about his dad as they walk deeper into the woods. A 30-year cop who got killed on a speeding ticket, but before that, he got screwed over by the law because they had to let a serial killer he had caught go. And I think his dad told him a story where he took him out to the woods and took care of it. And Morgan says he's gonna cross that line too.
Somehow I know my father will understand.
He can't prove it, but he's convinced. He's also stupid, and she hits him with a shovel and I would assume killed him out there, because next we see she's back at work. And everybody's so happy to see her. She's actually increased business because she killed Jimmy, the killer that was killing everybody. Supposedly. And then she's in her office with the safety pin that's actually attached to her keys, and she gives us an evil laugh. The end. Well, what can you say about this one? I mean, there's some fundamental flaws in it, like people still going to this workout place after death all around there and in there, and it's just not safe to go there. You're gonna get killed, and so many of them did. And then there's like, oh yeah, they stopped Jimmy, let's go back there. Well, the murders are gonna start up again. Somebody else will get blamed for it. She outsmarted the stupidest cop on the force.
Who used to be the perfectly beautiful Valerie Johnson, until 70% of her body was burned in a tanning spa accident 5 years ago.
Look, that's enough!
Valerie Johnson, who was to become the modeling world's newest young star, but suddenly couldn't get a job starring in a freak show.
I mean, I like the little twists, but definitely this seemed like a first draft. I think you could have brought somebody in and made a really smart movie out of this. I wanted to see them go to dinner, you know, expand the budget, go to a restaurant, have a murder there.
Wait! I didn't do it!
Also would have been nice if Rhonda had friends. I mean, her and Jaimy, they could have had a relationship rather than Rhonda just hate her, you know. I get the motivation. She hates pretty people because she got burnt. Selectively burnt. I mean, the hair, the breasts, I don't know what else. Your face was fine. Obviously your hands were fine. So, it's interesting. Selective fire. Like a lot of these type of movies though, I do have questions. Like, how did Rhonda kill Jaimy when seconds before she was with the detective? And do these women even have heads? In the end, is this worth a watch? Hell yeah, it's worth a watch. There's a lot of kills in this, and there's aerobics, and there's women working out, and all this fun stuff, and terrible detective. I'd definitely have a few drinks if I was watching this. Watch it with some friends, have some good laughs, because it's not a winning formula. It's no death spa. Death spa. We'll get to that. That's a fun one. Well, as always, guys, thanks for watching.